Hello and welcome to Centurions Corner, and today we're going to be reviewing one of the new bootleg figures that have come out. There's a new Clone Trooper and a new Stormtrooper, and I'll be uploading them in two different videos. So they come in this package, so it's a nice kind of sealed envelope, and inside seems to be a sturdy box. So let's take a look. So inside we have quite a nice strong box. There's no dings or anything on that, and that's come straight from China, so that is pretty cool. All quite nice and bubble wrapped inside. Again, taped once more, so we can undo that. And here we have it, the new Stormtrooper and new Clone Trooper. So taking the Stormtrooper out of the packet, let's go. So here we have the Stormtrooper, and he looks pretty nice. So we just see him in this packet, and yeah. It's looking pretty good actually. The helmet just seems a little bit warped, I suppose. The body itself looks fine, nice and glossy, and looks pretty good. So we're just going away, take some pictures, and we see you in a mo. So here he is, the bootleg Stormtrooper, and oh my god, they have done an amazing job on this. As much as Hasbro have done a fantastic job on that figure and creating it, it is a little bit hard to get at the moment, and this bootleg figure is such a far cheaper option, unfortunately for Hasbro, that they have done a bootleg of it, and it is on point and it is fantastic, and I must admit. So on Aliexpress it cost me about £11. You're putting about £3 there on tax now, as it's no longer free. So have a shop around. Sometimes they do pay for free shipping, some it's not, and stuff on there. So just have a look around on Aliexpress and you will see these guys. Just make sure it's the newer ones and not the older ones. So yeah, what we do on this review, we'll do a normal review. We'll have a look at a comparison between the Black Series Stormtrooper and obviously a quick kind of look at the old bootleg Stormtrooper as well. And also there's a head underneath this helmet, so at the end of the video I'm going to attempt to take that off to see what the sculpt looks like underneath that helmet. So starting off, he's got one accessory, and the accessory is his E11 blaster, and it's quite a nice looking one, to be honest. A little bit sloppy, obviously, where the detailing is a little bit lost, being a clone of the actual gun itself. It's done in a gloss plastic, so we can bring in the official one, which is obviously more of a matte looking. And as you can see, just around on the end up here, this is the bootleg. It's a little bit sloppy just on the end there. We've got a few like a bit of bendage and everything there. On this side, again, a bit more details kind of lost. Where it's the gloss, it's really sort of showing the light. It's hard to see the details, but the details in there, but it's just not as defined as the official. The figure itself, well, what can I say about it? It is absolutely amazing. And what we do, we just go through his articulation. So articulation wise, this guy starts off with his head. We can go left and we can go right. He can look down and he can look up. We have got a bit of swagger in there. He can move. He's got the lower neck ball joint down there, and he's also up in the neck. As you can see, there is a clone head in there, and he has got upper head movement as well. Arm wise, we've got the rotation around at the top here. It does feel a bit clunky, not as obviously good as the official one, but we have got the butterfly joint in there, and the arm can come up as well. We have got a rotation at the elbow just here, and we've got the single jointed elbow bend that comes up way more than 90 degrees. We've got the rotation at the wrist, and it's also on a hinge. On here we actually got a rotation at the waist. He can look down this far and look back this far. Leg wise, he can come up this wide, he can kick forward this much, back, upper thigh rotation. We've got the rotation at the knee as well, single joint knee bend, shall I say, up to this much, and he's got the rocker and a pivot at the ankle. So in all, is actually a fantastic looking figure, and the articulation there is pretty cool. So what we do, we'll just go through his sculpt really quickly and just look at that, and then we'll go through the comparison with the official. So as you can see, he's done in a really nice kind of gloss white plastic, not as bad as like the old one, which is kind of like a weird matte kind of feel to it. It was a bit strange, to be honest, but yeah, the gloss is really cool. I do find that this butterfly joint, it does pop out quite a bit. There is a pin inside there, so you just have to kind of sort of nudge it back in. So yeah, they're a bit there, but they're a bit tight, so it might need a sometimes might need a glue in place, and you can just have the rotation there. Might have to lose that butterfly joint at sometimes because it might break at some point, or it could be just this one because I've only just ordered the one. At the face, as you can see, the helmet is done really nicely. There is a bit of a sloppy job at the eye there. We've got a little bit of kind of sloppiness around on this sort of part here, sloppiness up here as well. This bit's kind of over painted slightly, it should be a little bit further back. This part at the back's done really good, and yeah, I mean the paint on this part down here is good. You just see there's a bit of sloppy on black just all up here on some parts of the actual Stormtrooper itself, but apart from that, the actual sculpt is really nice. You've even got all like the rivet parts of the undersuit as well in the places, and looking really cool. So what we do, I'll just put him on the side here and we'll do a comparison between the official and this one. So here they are, side by side, and can you tell me which one's the real one and which one's the fake? The one on the left near the camera is the fake one, and I must admit there's not a lot of difference there. As you compare them quite close to detail, you can see a little bit of sloppiness going on there, but to be honest, there were so many sort of issues with this one that sometimes you might even think this one would be almost as good as a normal. So looking at quite closely, you can actually see the sloppiness in the helmet really kind of brings it out, but there's not a lot of difference, I don't think, in the helmet. Maybe it's a little bit wider there. These parts here are a lot more silver than this one. This one is actually a little bit more blacker at the bottom there. Obviously the sloppiness in the brow and everything on there you can see, but just slightly a new bit of paint job on there that'll straighten that bit up. The earpiece, as you can tell, is slightly misaligned and everything on there, but apart from that, the actual shape of it and everything on there isn't too bad. So if you had these guys walking behind this one, you are not going to notice at all. The armour wise, you can see on the shoulders that it's not as defined as the official. It kind of sort of feels like it sort of connects over, when this one it sort of like looks like it's actually laying on top rather than sort of going a bit lower down. On the arms, not too bad. The gloss is obviously better on the official. Belt wise, you can see some mould joints, etc., which isn't too bad. This bit here just looks a little bit sort of a bit slightly deformed as well. And then going around to the back, on the actual part on the back here as well, it's kind of this bit on the official, it's kind of riveted just at the bottom of the sort of lines there, but that one hasn't got it at all. Just so I can pick up the detail, you can see it's slightly a little bit milky as well on camera, but actually holding them hand to hand, it's just slightly off a little bit yellow, like a slightly more creamy white. It doesn't look as apparent as it is on camera. Down to the back, we've got the lines on here, which seem to be a bit more prominent on the actual bootleg rather than the official, which is a bit strange. Down on here, obviously this is more of a matte and this one's more gloss on the black. And then down to the legs on this part. To the front, we've got the detail again, so it's more sort of prominent on the official than on here. And then this bit going around is kind of just more sort of inlined, and it looks a little pinched and a little bit warped on the actual bootleg. On the official, this is quite soft plastic, it goes straight back down, but this one is more of a harder plastic, so they don't go down as much as possible. And that's the same as these as well. This is kind of like a soft vinyl, very manipulative, but this one here is kind of a more of a harder plastic. So yeah, not too bad at all, and looking pretty cool, and definitely recommend for army building, and I'll definitely be buying more of this guy, that is for sure. And we can bring in the other bootleg that we used to have. I have tried putting an acrylic kind of gloss over him. It went a little bit crazy. I did drop him at the time, and he's gone through quite a few different wars and stuff. But this is the old bootleg Stormtrooper. Look how much it has progressed. Just compare the two there next to each other. It's awful. So yeah, this guy looks fantastic. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go and remove his head, and then we have a sort of a full evaluation at the end of the video. Okay, so we're back, and it was a nightmare trying to get this helmet off. They definitely used a lot more glue than usual. It was a bit of a fight, but saying that, it was also my first Stormtrooper removal helmet, so it didn't go down too bad. The actual plastic itself, once it was heated up, was a lot softer than what I'm used to, and there was a few kind of mishaps. So the actual eyes itself lost a lot of paint on there, and I've just had to re-gloss them over with a bit of new paint on there, but you can actually see where the paint is kind of lifted away from the eyes. But underneath we do have a Tamura Morrison head. Obviously there's a lot of glue on here. It does need sanding down. There's a lot of glue on the back. You can see there's tons and tons of glue, but we've actually got to it, and it's not a bad sculpt inside as well. So it is great for customs, etc., at a really good fraction of the price, and is incredible. So thank you so much for joining me on this one. It's really quite a nice refreshing thing to bring a new knockoff to the table, where we can actually extend doing those customs. So now we've got a decent Stormtrooper where we can actually make some more decent customs as well, and I would love to actually make what Hasbro have made before, kind of like the Commando and stuff like that, into these guys. So they do need a bit of a upgrade, I suppose. So thank you once again. You can comment down below, do you think this is an improvement? You can follow me on Instagram, which is in the description, and also you can ding the bell and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Thank you, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.